with regards to the Air India crash that took place. There's a lot of investigation that has been done. The lens now on the plane's fuel control switches. The initial report is suggesting improper movement of engine fuel switches. Improper movement of the fuel switches is something that investigators are now very keenly looking at. The initial report is expected by Friday. Probe focusing on the fuel control of the switches. The air current report gives new twist to this entire investigation. India is now allowing specialists to observe the status of this report. My colleague Amit Bharadwaj is now joining me on the story. Amit, the initial report is now pointing towards the fact that there could be something wrong with the fuel control switches.
Well, Aishwarya, India Today was the first to break this story that the preliminary report, the first report by the AIB has been prepared, compiled, and it's being shared with the government agencies and the concerned authorities. And we very specifically also said as to how this is going to be likely a two-page report that has been prepared by the AIB. And, if you look at the AI 171 crash video, what is being believed, and in fact the reports that we did during that unfortunate and tragic crash in Ahmedabad, the signaling to the ATC, the final message that was given by the pilot to the ATC in Ahmedabad was thrust not achieved, falling, there's no power, phrases of that sort, which meant that essentially possibly there could be failure of the engines. These are the prima facie what it looks like. So obviously the investigators, whether it be the AIB or the NTSB or other agencies, the domain experts which were roped in by the AIB for this investigation as per the International Civil Aviation Organization's investigation norms, they would be also looking at the obvious or the prima facie possibility of the crash, which could be the engine failure. If there was an engine failure, what could have led to that particular situation, why there was no thrust being achieved by the engines. That's a primary question that the investigators must have looked into. For instance, there's a mechanism in the Boeing Dreamliner which actually ensures that the power is generated by the engine is sent ahead for the flight to take aviation. So there have been instances of malfunction during a taxi check back in 2012 in South Carolina. That was also a Dreamliner of the Air India which was going through taxi check, and it was in fact the right engine had reported several problems in terms of unable to send thrust back in the day in 2012. So obviously these are the initial causes that the investigators would be looking at. But what we can certainly tell our viewers at this point in time, the report is expected to be made possibly public this week itself. It has been prepared because if you see a delay, that would raise a further question on the investigators, because it's being believed that within the time frame of 1 month, the report has to be prepared and submitted to the authorities, as well as certain details of that particular report has to be made public, because it's not just India but also British people, Portuguese people who are seeking those answers as to why their loved ones couldn't survive that flight that took from Ahmedabad that day. So certainly this week is what we are expecting, that the initial inputs could be also made public. Back to you, Aishwarya.
Amit, if you can throw some light on what exactly the Aviation Ministry at the moment is looking at. From what we are understanding, a new set of rules, a relook at the SOPs. That's also something that the Aviation Ministry at the moment is looking at.
This particular crash was bound to change the way we look at air safety at this point in time, the way the entire ecosystem of civil aviation works in the country. And that is why right after the AI 171's tragic crash in Ahmedabad, what we saw, the first focus was on the Dreamliner fleet of Air India. It had to go through a complete and thorough checkup. Enhanced safety checks have been imposed on Boeing Dreamliner series of the Air India. Besides that, surprise check of the airports is being carried out. So the inputs that are coming from these reports of compliance violation at the airport by the private airlines operators or even the ground services such as baggage handling and
Right.
other issues, whether it be the runway and the buildings around the airport, all of that is being taken into consideration. And now the ministry, the DGCA, the AAI, the IRA, BCash, all of these essential units of the Civil Aviation's Ministry have been sensitized about the situation, and possibly in the days to come we will also see when that high-level committee report will be
Right.
out in 3 months. We will have even more enhanced safety protocols in place. Back to you.
Thank you, Amit, giving us all those details. As my colleague pointed out, we will see by the end of the week the report will be out and we will see enhanced safety measures being put in place in days and months to come by the Civil Aviation Ministry.